Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna bring you my Spookathon 2018 wrap-up, which technically ended like over 2 weeks ago, I think. It ended quite a while ago. But I never wrapped up and did a video, so I figured I would just share it with you guys now. Better late than never, right? So let's just get into this. I chose 3 books for my Spookathon. There was 5 challenges, I believe. Maybe there was 6. I think there was 5. 1 was pick a thriller, 2 pick a book with pictures in it, 3 pick a book with purple on the cover, 4 pick a book that is not set in our time period, so that's a book that probably could have been set back in previous times, or even futuristic, or just not in this year. It could be like a book from like 2008 for all we care. But anyways, it just couldn't have been set in our time period right now. And I think that was it for challenges. That was 4. I swear there was 5. Maybe I'll remember it halfway through my video. Let's just get into this. The first book that I finished during Spookathon was What You Left Behind by Samantha Hayes. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that this was one of my book haul Dollar Tree books. So I only got this for $1 a couple months ago. I was a little hesitant going into it because I did get it at the dollar store. But oh my gosh, I loved this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. 4 stars. It was great. It's about a town that's kind of plagued with these multiple suicides of teenagers that kind of happen back to back. And then suddenly they stop for about 18 months. And then suddenly teenage suicides start happening again. This woman, who is a detective, decides to visit her sister who lives in this town where all these suicides are happening, and she's on vacation, but she's actually a detective visiting her sister, and she starts figuring out some things that, like, maybe these suicides aren't suicides. Maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's someone behind these. Anyways, it turns into kind of a mystery thriller. I loved it. 4 stars. Maybe I gave it 4.5 stars. I can't remember, but I didn't know I was gonna love this much, maybe because I went into it blindly as well as low expectations, and that's why I loved it so much, but it was a great, great book. Loved it. The next book that I finished in Spookathon, oh, by the way, What You Left Behind, that was my book for Pick a Thriller. This one is Roald Dahl's The Witches. Now, if you watched my Spookathon TBR, you will know that I watched the original movie that was probably like in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, completely scared the crap out of me, but I've never actually read the book. And it's a very short book because it is a children's book. I don't know if it's technically quite middle, well, it is middle grade because it's probably more for kids that are right 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So middle grade, definitely. I love this. It was morbid, it was creepy, it was exactly how I remember the movie, which was like, what, 25 years ago? I loved it. 4, 5 stars. Man, why did I not check what kind of stars I gave these books before I started this video? Anyways, I loved it. Definitely, it's one of these it's a little bit more creepier than I even think like a Goosebump book. So if you've got a kid who just loves creepy novels that are a little on the morbid side, The Witches from Roald Dahl is perfect. I loved it. It is about these witches who are spread all over the world. They've got their own little like clans or society, like there's some in England and then there's some in America, and they're just spread out all over. This young boy, him and his grandmother decide to go on a small vacation in a hotel, and lo and behold, these witches are holding a huge meeting at this hotel. These witches hate children. All witches hate children. And the Grand High Witch decides, we're gonna turn all the children into mice. And it goes from there. I loved it, it was great. I tried reading this with my 4th grader, and he decided it was not really up his alley. He likes kind of creepy books, but he was like, I'm not really that into witches. But that didn't bother me because I just kept reading it, and I actually loved it. As an adult, loved it. Ow. Oh my gosh. I'm having issues, people. Okay, so the third book that I finished for Spookathon, and I actually didn't finish this right around Spookathon. It took me a few more days after Spookathon, but I'm including it because I read a good majority of it. And I actually listened to this on Audible, loved it. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I highly recommend you get the Audible version. I was consumed by it. I literally like listened to this in 3 days. It's like 9 hours long. I think I put it on like a 1.25 or 1.5 speed because the narrator does, it's a classic, so they do read quite slow. And so I like whizzed through it and I loved it. Like, why have I not picked this up before? But I'm gonna check it off one of my bucket lists because I'm one of those that loves to at least try to get through a few classics every year, and this is one of Barnes & Noble's classic leatherbounds, which I love because they're fantastic and they look beautiful on my shelves. As you can tell, I do collect them. And Mary Shelley, you're a freaking genius for your time period and for being a female and just being your own unique author and setting a platform that for hundreds of years, this creature, this monster is going to live on for who knows how long, and it still is, and it's still talked about, and there's still movies being made. We love it. We love you, Mary Shelley, and I loved it. 5 stars. Read it. Oh, okay. Also, too, challenges. So, What You Left Behind was my thriller. This was, of course, a book that is not set in the time period because it's a couple hundred years old, obviously. Also, too, another challenge, just as I thought about it, I knew I would think about it, is pick a book with a scary word in the title, Frankenstein, or even The Witches could be considered for this. And then purple on the cover. This does have a little bit of purple on the cover, as you can kind of tell. And is that it? Oh, and a book with pictures in it. So, of course, this does have some illustrations, and they're actually quite creepy illustrations for a middle grade children's novel, and these witches are just so grotesque and creepy. Where's another, like, I loved it. Anyways, my Spookathon was great. I think I could have done a little bit better, but I didn't finish all my Spookathon books in the Spookathon time, but I'm just going to wrap them up and include them. You'll also see them in my October TBR. I will lightly go over them. But other than that, I had a pretty damn good Spookathon. Like 3 books that I read probably in like a week and a half, more likely. And they were either 4 or 5 star reads for me. So, party. Like, I love having good weeks like that. I do want to say a huge thank you to Kayla from Books and Lala. I will link her channel down below. She is the one that started Spookathon. I believe this is the 2nd or 3rd year. This is my 1st year of doing it, and I can't wait to do it again next year. It was super fun, and I have completely enjoyed watching everyone's Spookathon wrap-ups and vlogs and TBRs. It was perfect for October. I loved it. I lived for it. Can't wait for next year. Thank you guys so much for joining me and letting me ramble on just about books. You guys are awesome. BookTube rocks. I will see you guys in another video. Bye.